just going to read Teed's comment. Oh man, I'm just going to read this out because it's quite pertinent. But T25 says they allege that Microsoft had an arrangement with Ubisoft that the Division would not exceed the Xbox fidelity or performance and thus held back on PlayStation. I received an infraction on the official forums for replying to someone who asked if there will be anti-cheat only if you bought the Phoenix Shield edition. Otherwise, no anti-cheat. Apparently that was flaming. Yeah, I predicted this time would come, that when the Division 2 was announced, suddenly things would get less pleasant for dissenters. I think it's ridiculous that you would be punished for that kind of comment. But at the same time, the fact that they accused you of flaming for making jokes about there being no anti-cheat makes me very concerned that there clearly isn't going to be any anti-cheat. You know what I mean? They're clearly preparing for that shitstorm, or preparing to deal with that shitstorm. But yeah, I've got to admit, I'm a bit disappointed with the way that they've been behaving recently, because there's always been this relatively sort of good-humoured side to it. You know, they've been tolerant of criticism. They put up with criticism, and people's criticism is a bit more measured as a result. But recently it's been.
I'd like to discuss the price.
I've been hearing about people getting threatened with God knows what over nothing, and it's clearly just,
Here.
If this happened on Reddit, you'd say that the moderator had lost his fucking mind. But because it's an official forum, you can't say jack shit about it. But, just trumped up charges to silence people. But, I mean, let's not fuck around. Johan has threatened to in his message, there was a threat of a permanent life ban from the official Ubisoft forums if I posted one of my videos again in the wrong section of the forum. Because they want, they're saying, oh, you can post them, but you can post them in that, what's that, subsection? There's like a graveyard of, it's like for sort of artwork and stuff. I can't even remember the name of it, but I mean, it gets about 5 views a year, and all the people that go there are people who do specific types of art or cosplay. It's being, effectively being sent to Siberia. So they're like, oh, you can post it there, and it's like, well, yeah, that subforum exists to bury stuff. You know what I mean? It's like saying you can live anywhere you like as long as you live in Siberia. It's like, well, yeah, thanks for fucking nothing. Oh, by the way, also apparently the DZ will only have 16 players, not the current 24. You know what? I read that somewhere today. I have read that in some other literature. I think that comes from a PlayStation release, actually, because PlayStation was boasting about some aspect of the Division 2 and inadvertently
I've taken care of that camp.
Have you brought
product listing on the Xbox store, right?
Here it is.
Well, that is a fine bit of news. I've received another report.
They clearly don't realise that they're unleashing a shitstorm by
by
casually mentioning that number.
I reckon it'd be worth a look there.
Very well. I'll take a look there.
Sorry, TD.
Good luck to you.
The links thing ban is still on. Kits, how you doing? Very well, thank you, Kit. Nice to see you, dude. T, yeah, no apology necessary, mate. I mean, personally, I would, if we lived in a perfect world, I would, I'd be quite happy to have let people link stuff, but I've been advised that it's a thing you just got to have on, otherwise someone eventually maliciously will come and start linking stuff. Hey, Tolkano. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'll be honest. I'm no moral titan here. For everything I've said, you know, I have the excuse of saying, well, I pre-ordered it because, you know, I'm gonna cover the game on YouTube, so that's my get out of jail free card. I'd be really conflicted if I didn't have an excuse. I'd be really conflicted because part of me wants to say, fuck no, I'm not ordering that piece of shit, and there's a little bit of me that would want to sneak out and pre-order it anyway. You know, it's like, I guess it's the fact that we all know we shouldn't. You know, we all shouldn't as a fucking protest.
I'd like to make
but
use
it's one
of
thing
the
to say that,
Bad
it's another
services.
thing to not pre-order
And
it.
what is it you'd like?
A bit of everything. Heal my wounds, have a proper bath. Oh, and my garments are in need of
I'm
that can be
very
arranged.
curious about the scale
You'll
of the
pay in
game, actually,
advance.
because
Fine.
that's going to mean
Here it is.
different things to different
I'm
people.
sure you'll
like
be
if there's only
extremely
16 people on a server, then Last Stand is going to be a fucking farce. Last Stand with 8 players on each team. I mean, what the fuck? The DZ is going to be a bit empty, but then I don't know what form the DZ will take. Believe it or not, as someone who doesn't play PvP, I actually wish they hadn't even touched the DZ and it stayed the way it was. But there you go. Sorry, Teed. MP. Yeah, I mean it's. I see. I don't know. So I'm trying to keep up with chat. It would be funny if there was some real clanger like, oh, you can play on a 32-player server with this extra pack. Jesus. I mean, I got a pretty reasonable PC. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty reasonable. But already games are coming out that are so vast that if I want to run the game from my solid state drive, I'm going to have to delete something off. You know, once you've got your operating system and one game on there, there's not, unless you've got a fairly sizable solid state drive, you've had it already. I mean, 80 gigs. I mean, fuck, I think I probably only got about a quarter of a 250 gig solid state drive. So an 80 gig game, you know, I'm not going to get many of those on there.
What happened to your valve? Amongst got no business out there. What happened to your valve?
Kit's asking about horses. Well, see, slight nudge there. Got another point. As I was just discussing, you want a warhorse gender. Maybe there's another one. Vlamenzi said there's another one with an Arabic name that might also be having, but the I think the best all-round horse is Warhorse Gender, because it comes in like near the top in every category. Not necessarily the top in any category, but it's like second or third in sort of bravery, speed, and capacity. And that is from... Is it from Uzic? No. It's from Merhayed. The stable in Merhayed. The stable in Merhayed sells Warhorse Gender. Right, and the Arab one is from Neuhof. In fact, I'm just going to quickly fly over to Neuhof. Technically, there is Warhorse Gender is actually just Gender's full name. There is technically no classification of Warhorse in the game. It's just Warhorse Gender is the full name of this horse. Let's crack over to Neuhof. I actually initially upgraded to Boxer when I was actually doing this, because I was just on hardcore. It was so hard to make money that I initially was just like, I need a bet. I wanted to have a horse before I started any of the main quest line. So when I went on my hunting trip with Hans Capon, I actually wanted to take a horse with me at that point. And at that point, I could only afford Boxer, the cheapish fucking shitty horse. I think that was at Uzitz. And Box was alright. Fully upgraded, it wasn't bad. Pretty cheap. I think it comes in at about 1200. As Vermenzi says, he did everything on Pebbles. Another viewer actually is stuck with Pebbles all the way. Because you get your riding speed up and get lots of nice kit, Pebbles probably is fairly reasonable. I'm gonna kill this guy if he's not careful.
Come over here.
But yeah, you can buy. The only restriction on these things is being able to run to the stables and pay the money. If people don't like spoilers, put their fingers in their ears now, because I'm going to give a spoiler that I was completely unaware about until the other day. Fingers in ears. I wanted to have a horse when I started the quest lines with Hans Capon, just for reasons. But I ended up getting so sidetracked that I think when I started the actual quest, I was now on Warhorse Gender. And it was very obvious that my horse was faster than Hans Capon's, because even at a canter, I was going about twice. When we were both cantering, I was constantly having to stop. You actually get a different quest option. And in the bit where, and this is a bit where you put your fingers in your ears, the bit where Hans Capon runs away, you don't have to chase after him. It just shows you an animation of you riding with him, because your horse is faster than him. So you see a completely different side of the game, or that quest at least. I'll just say it does get faster with practice kit. Doesn't appear to have their names.
A monk's got...
Do you know where the posh horses are here? But yeah, Kit. I mean, definitely go onto the subreddit and look up do a search for something like Kingdom Come Deliverance best horse, and you'll find a spreadsheet there. There's Kelpie. Thanks, Lorenzi.
What's that?
I reckon it's that white stallion. Albarak. Remember, my speed on the left is with all of my bonuses and boosts. I think my base speed's something like 36. Yeah, I'd say Albarak is a good close second. In fact, there's barely anything in it. So yeah, I'd say that'd be a good choice of horse. Yeah, I mean this one's pretty fast. It's got In fact, I'm going to shut up because I've just realised I've chose the racehorse perk, so my capacity is artificially deflated. So if a horse standard capacity is fairly low compared to mine, then it's probably very low. But yeah, I totally agree with what Vlamenzi's saying there. The developer is cracking. I've got nothing but good things to say about them. Right, I think it's time for a tactical nap, and then we need to go and track down the shitbag Riki. Yeah, Kit. I got a little map off the Kingdom Come forums, and it just showed me where the bandit bases were. And once I had a bit of competence, I just used to go to where the bandit bases were and shoot them at range with an arrow, kite them away, kill them, steal their shit, go and sell it at the mill, Ratte Mill, and eventually, before you know it, you'll get your money up, and then you can go and buy a posh horse. But yeah, it's a cracking game, cracking developer, and I think it sets a benchmark, because there's so many occasions now where I see large game developers make comments about, it's not like we can just go out and do that, and then you can look at Kingdom Come Deliverance and just go, well, these guys just went and did X, Y, and Z, and they've got a fraction of your budget. And increasingly, in fact, this is a good opportunity to give a shout out to Teed, because Teed sent me this information this week. But Ubisoft, was it posted last year, was it $1.6 billion in gross profit, not turnover, profit. And I sadly feel that a lot of the problems that they have with their video games are nothing more complicated than squeezing profit margins. I do believe that the Division 1 was a masterclass in expectation management. They were trying to spend a little bit of money on PR instead of a lot of money on fixing stuff. I think that was the name of the game. That's why Ubisoft's so successful. trying to persuade people to accept excuses about why stuff can't be fixed, because paying some noddy to go up in front of a camera on a Thursday is cheaper than paying 20 developers to come in at the weekend. Anyway, enough of my griping. And yeah, what Vlamenzi said, this is going to be very interesting, as I have no cardinal points on my compass, no map marker, and I'm fucking stupid. You got to keep reminding me about crazy golf, by the way. I keep forgetting to take swings at people while I go past. Right, I've got the wrong weapon. Oh, stop. I don't want to do that. They have to pay the propaganda brigade. Sorry, I'm in community manager somehow else. With Yannick afford to pay his small Filipino boy to comb his beard. I mean, I'm going to say, what the fuck is up with beards at Ubisoft? I swear to God, they must sit you down in the interview and go, "Are you prepared to grow a beard?" It's just, is it an office craze? I don't know. Is it some kind of prove your macho thing? I don't know. But have you noticed, like the last state of the game, there were 5 people in front of the camera, and only one of the motherfuckers didn't have a beard. You can say, yeah, just rock up with your beard. Just say, who needs qualifications? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And thank you, Silent Sniper. I guess I'm always wary of, like, I don't want to be that guy who just sits around and moans about broken stuff in the Division. But at the same time, I do believe it's an important thing that people become mindful of, because seeing how other smaller developers can make shit happen makes you realise that the maths doesn't add up with Ubisoft games. When they say things can't be done, or we don't have a budget for that, when you start comparing them to other smaller studios, you realise, hang on, that maths doesn't make sense. I mean, look at Warframe's, the equivalent of State of the Game for Warframe. It looks like a fucking TV studio. And they've got less of a budget than Ubisoft. Look at Scum. You look at, the game Scum. It's far from perfect, but fucking hell. Do you know how long it took them from the first report of cheating that I saw? 28 hours later, they had anti-cheat installed. Easy anti-cheat got installed on everyone's PCs. I think, it was less than 2 days. They were prepared to spend the 5 pence per copy for easy anti-cheat. So, when the Division say they're looking at anti-cheat, it's like, well, Devolver Digital was looking at anti-cheat, and then the next day fucking sorted it out. T says, that's why we watch you, right? Yeah, I try at least to do it in a happy way, but I'm still self-conscious of just sitting here fucking moaning. But yeah, I think, I think that's like one of the biggest things in live service that I think people need to get their heads around. That is that a lot of what they mean by live service is about negotiating with the customer. And it's not about, I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean that in a, way where they're in a constant process of negotiating to give the customer less than they've fucking bargained for. I'm lost as fuck. I'm just going to head back here. You know, that's what a live service game is about. It's constantly trying to increase your input of revenue whilst seeing how little you can get away with actually providing. FPS, how you doing? I am well and truly fucking lost, but I know how to unfuck myself. He says, inhaling a vast cloud of vape. Glad to hear it, and I'm all good. Thank you, mate. I'm just proving beyond reasonable doubt. Oh, fuck me, we've got some action. That was fucking tragic. I think these are traders and cumin, so if I hit one of the fucking traders, I'm gonna have to fucking kill everybody. Okay, these better arrows are paying off. So to get...
Hey, who's there?
Right, let's get some melee action on. Right, well,
aren't you meant to be in the monastery, lad?
Collect that cumin bow for later.
Do you need help? Aren't you meant to be in the monastery, lad?
Yeah, unfortunately the arrows came with no guarantee that they would hit their targets. Sadly, I just realised it's this bloody. The reason my stomach always gurgles when I'm on a live stream is because this bloody 20p a can energy drink I'm drinking.
Mother of God.
I might actually put some rusty bolts in some of this and see if it strips. Oh, right. Let's check our poison level. But now FPS, I have to be very strategic on this map on hardcore. Oh, remember the rules of Crazy Golf. His lucky day. On this map on hardcore, it's really easy to get lost, and I don't really need much help to start with. I'm pretty good at getting lost on this map. That's why sometimes you'll see me take like big detours, because I know I can do the detours with my eyes closed. Whereas if I take a more direct route, I'll just get completely fucked in the woods somewhere. Sometimes almost literally. Right, let's go and find Riki. I am actually going to save. You know, Blemenzi's just talking about people starting their first hard. interrupt. I'll read out his comment. When people ask if they should start their first playthrough in hardcore, Kappa. Yeah, I used to be quite tentative about my advice here, but I will say now after some discussion, do not start your first playthrough on hardcore. There's stuff that you will just never get to learn properly if you start on hardcore. Play on hardcore for a while first, and if you really, if you really want to then switch to hardcore, fine, or finish your first playthrough and then do a second one on hardcore. But yeah, you do not.
A monk's got no business.
Do not want to start this game in hardcore. Yeah, do that, Silent Sniper. I should be drinking coffee, really, not bloody Blue Spark energy drink. Made in some dubious Lithuanian factory. Not that there's anything wrong with Lithuania. Right. Let's have a look. Am I here? Yeah, it's one thing to intellectualize.
What are you doing?
It's one thing to intellectualize about not having cardinal points on your compass and not having a map marker. It's another thing to actually fucking deal with it. You know, I mean, if you're just reading about it in a game review, you're like, oh right, so I won't know which way is north or south, but I'll keep an eye on that. Oh, I won't have a map marker. Oh, it's fine. I'll have a rough idea of where I am. Then go off. It's great having that idea in principle, but you go in the middle of this fucking wood. There's about 4 square kilometre of woods there. Seriously, you get a little bit discombobulated in those woods, and yeah, suddenly it's not funny anymore. In fact, I'm half fucking lost now. I've got to go back to this path. FPS is, I think, the only games I've ever played on the hardest difficulty with the Hitman games that had a difficulty setting. Yeah, you're very good at those, I've got to admit. There's clearly a whole murderous side to you that we haven't fully explored yet. I really should pick those up, although I'm worried I won't be very effective at them. Quick question. No, I'm really worried that I can get a bit impatient with games, and I'm a bit worried that what I'll do is I'll get frustrated with the stealth side of things, and the next thing I know, all the prostitutes will be strangled in a dumpster, and I'll be chain lobbing grenades into the room. Can you hear that clicking, by the way? Right. Let's see if I can get up here. How good are you, horse? Good horse. Right. Ah, there it is. This is quite important. When I say important, I'm curious about it. So there was a debate. On the subreddit about this. There are apparently 6 of these in the game. Everything in this game is based on historical accounts. If it's in the game, it's at least been run past one of their historians. Now this is a water wheel that appears to be designed to do nothing but click. And there has been all sorts of conjecture about what they're for. And if anybody knows, I'd be very interested because it is not it's a very hard thing to Google. You can't seem to get anything about this kind of thing by Googling it. It always leads you to other things. But my pet theory is, I think I'm there. My pet theory is that that's an audible warning to say it's a certain distance downstream to a town. I think it's one of those ones like don't throw rubbish or piss or shit into the stream, you know, from this point downstream. Blemenzi says, I think it's for hunters as a point of reference where water is. That could do it. That could do it too. Yeah, that would make sense especially if people were like out here hunting for weeks. Silent says spook off animals from contaminating the water. That is equally a good possible. You know, I've copped out a little bit because I had a vague memory that this was the one where it was, and I've come here first. If you don't know which one's which, this is going to be hard to find. Right, Ricky. Ricky!
Mercy! Oh, damn it. He won't hold out for long. Help me. Please. What happened at Neuhof? Who's coming for you? Rance people. Neuhof. What a fucking mess. Why? We didn't want to kill nobody. Only they're savages. We ran off.
Really? I really need to get a darker colour chest plate and a different set of shoulders.
Happened to you? Run.
Obviously, I'm really concerned about the fact this guy's dying, but fashion first.
They found me. Where did they go?
It's alright, FPS. It's...
Don't. No.
I'm
looking for those
it is
bastards who
surprisingly
attacked me.
intuitive.
Where can I find them?
The division. I didn't find it took me too long to pick up the division.
Where?
The
Come
main
on,
thing is
tell me.
remembering that it's.
No. I've never been.
You can only jump
so how do you know
over
that?
things.
Who told you? My mate. Timmy. He was there. But they might have got him by now. Where can I find him? He works at the windmill by Miriam. Unless they've killed him already. What can I do with you now? Help me. Please. You're a thief and maybe a murderer. You deserve to die in pain. No. Leave. Here. Please.
I always feel slightly fucking embarrassed in this game where I start wagging my armoured finger at someone and telling them that they're a thief and a murderer when nearly everything in my possession has been stolen from people that I've killed. I do occasionally drink Mountain Dew, but mainly just because I like the idea of drinking something that's more fluorescent than a factory security jacket. But yeah, Armour 3, wickedly complicated controls. The Division, I could actually, you should maybe give it a try. FPS. It's once you get your head around the fact that there's certain things that just aren't in the controls. You know, in certain games you always have to have a jump. With this, you've got to, you know, I think you can. In fact, I can't consciously describe the controls now. But with this, it's like you jump over things, but you don't just jump in the air. It's weird, but it's definitely cover to cover. Honestly, I'd say anyone who picks up the game like for 75% off with the DLCs right now is probably going to get a bargain. You know, you're going to get all of the game for a fraction of the price. Because 75% or 67% off in a sale, I mean, it's pretty cheap at the moment to start with. It's not full price anymore anyway. You'll get 4 or 5 months of fun. Right, I've still let Theron down. I've still not managed to play a game of Armour 3 with him, simply because I've not finished rebinding the controls, because they're so complex that once you start changing the controls, it gets very, very silly very quickly, because you kind of have to remap those controls across God knows what. I'm going to head north out of here. I'm going to go back for a tactical nap session. Please be north. But yeah, it's like it's a bit like Battlefield. I don't know what Battlefield's like now, but the old Battlefield, where like you rebind your keys for an infantryman, and then the next time you jump into a plane, you go to press some button and you realise it's overbound onto eject or something, and you just jump out of the plane or something daft. You know, for hours and hours of gameplay, you're constantly fucking shit up because you've overbound the keys. But yeah, I really want to try Armour 3. I feel very guilty I've not got around to doing it, but yeah, it's not straightforward to rebind that shit. I'm just going to have a quick look for a couple of bandits. What time is it? Plenty of time. Have a quick look for a couple of bandits, repair my gear, and then we're going to go and look for this other chump. There is a distinct possibility we're going to end up in a massive fucking scrap later.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure I've got my vest combat pants on. In fact, I'm going to do a quick repair now. There we go. Do we have any friends here? This is a pretty common ambush point down here, so if you're staying at the inn on the glade, it's always worth taking a quick stroll down here. That. Clearly drinking cider under a tree. I want to sell some shit actually. Where's the nearest place to sell some convenient place to sell some crap? Neuhof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like I like the taste of Mountain Dew, but they never seem to have Diet Mountain Dew where I am. And I like the idea, the irony of drinking something that looks like it's been drained out of the cooling water of a nuclear power station. I mean, fuck me, it is really fluorescent. But yeah, they need to have more Diet Mountain Dew where I live, I think. I'm very wary about the amount of sugary drinks I have, because you just get to a point where sugar can become worse than caffeine. Right. I'm tempted to see if she's got this quest yet. Hello, Zora. Oh. Monster Energy, yeah, they have some of that in the local shop, and the label makes it look like the sort of energy drink they'd sell in a biker's bar. It's not messing around. Right, she's got money. I'm tempted to, I can't even remember this. Apparently this quest she has gives you the best saddle in the game. Cyber, how you doing, mate? I'm all good. Good to see you. Thanks for swinging by. Yeah, Penny, the energy drinks, I do actually I do get a hit off them, but it's a bit like coffee. I was going to use a different substance as an example, but they're not, because I don't want people. Anyway, it's a bit like coffee. If you have a coffee, you'll get a nice boost from it. If you just start caning coffee, you'll quickly crest the hill. You'll just start to gibber, and then you'll also have a big come down from it. So I think personally, energy drinks are a bit like caffeine, any other stimulant really. If used wisely and in small doses, they're very effective. If you use them habitually, you start to need them just to wake up in the morning.
From the monastery, aren't you?
Yes, as Vamenzi says, yeah, it will disturb your sleep if you drink too many of them and then get into bed. You'll know about it. Are we killing some bandits, talking about energy drinks, and the Division? I'm just mulling over in my head whether or not to do this quick side quest.